Hello, 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 lovely ladies. So sorry that the record button didn't work yesterday. Apologies for that, but I was tired. These things happen. But anyway, I'm going to re-record the presentation from today. So basically, I'm just going to walk you through the outline of Periscope, why you should be using it, how to grow your business by using Periscope, and also some of those mind shifts that you need to make to be on Periscope, which I think is more the important factor, and how you can use Periscope to develop your business even though you are not broadcasting yet, because I know that visibility step can be quite big for people. So that's what the presentation is. So let's get into it. Let me share my screen with you guys, and we want to go to this one. Great. So hopefully all you guys can see that there. So yeah, this masterclass, as I said, is all about Periscope, this new amazing social media platform to have more clarity, have more freedom, and to gain more clients. So what will I be covering in this training? These are the key things I'm going to be covering today. So what is Periscope for those of you who don't know what it is? You're still thinking, what is this word that people keep on saying? As I said, my 5 key mindset shifts for using Periscope and how you can use it to grow your list, you gain your clients, and add more connections. Periscope is all about engagement, so this is an amazing platform for us to be on. Also, how to set up your profile for success and how to gain connection even if you are not broadcasting, because I know that can be a big barrier for people. For coming onto Periscope, they think they have to broadcast straight away. They don't. And top tips for broadcasting for the first time. And then obviously, you ladies aren't live on the Q&A part here. But if you just send me an email, connect with me on Facebook, and just send me your questions, and then I can answer them for you. So we'll go into that as well. So in case you don't know who I am or haven't really connected to me through CCC before, hello, darlings. I call everybody darlings, or hey, doll. And my name is Claire Fielder, and I'm a life and business strategist. I really love finding the root of success, for the information, the emotional blocks, and that my clients share with me. So I'd also say I was a pathfinder as well. I really adore finding the pieces of the puzzle, the bite-sized actions that my clients can take to move themselves forward. So I've really defined myself as an orchestrator of action as well. I really adore finding the simplicity of life. And, this year, that is my key word, simplicity. That's driving everything that I do. And as you probably know, I really am a heart listener, and I see the beauty which many people ignore, and that's through being really in the present moment. On my website, you will see the words, "You are amazing." And I believe that to be true of absolutely everyone. That's why I put it on every single page. I'm just going to repeat that. You are amazing. Hopefully that can ruminate and marinate in your soul a little bit today. I also guide people to see how they are both the light and their shadow, to understand their full selves, and so they can show up completely as who they are. I especially help new and emerging female entrepreneurs get laser focused and clear on how best to use their energy to get real results in their business. I also have 2 key mottos as well, which are again all over my website. My first one is my life motto: a spare hand is a helping hand. And this, I think, what is inbred in my DNA from the year dot. So I was brought up in a really small seaside town here in lovely England, down on the south coast, and I was taught from a really young age, if I saw an elderly neighbour walking down the street with a bag, then I had to go and offer to carry that bag with them for them if I had a spare hand. And even today, I know not a lot of other people do it, but if I'm walking around London and I've got a mobile and a bag going on in one hand, if this other hand is free and not doing anything, I will completely grab the bottom end of a pram and help somebody up with some stairs. And so that is really quite key to who I am. So that's why I share that. And my business motto is making the complex simple. So that is just how my brain works. It just sees pathways, as I was saying, to success, because I see really big analytical pieces of information in a very strategic way, but I love making it actionable and giving those bite-sized actions for people. People say I'm very calming, and I help people feel not so overwhelmed. So that really is about me making the complex simple. So that's a little introduction to who I am and what I do. So now let's have an introduction to what is this Periscope everybody's talking about. So with Periscope, I think the key thing to say is it is a new social media platform. It's been out for 3 months now. And I personally don't see it going away. I think, is it in August, September? In September, they've got Periscope New York week. I think at the end of the year, they've got Periscope from San Francisco week. And then hopefully, I'm badgering them, and I know lots of other people are, for them to come to Periscope London as well. So this, I think, media platform is here to stay. It's really engaging and interesting. So what actually is it? So it's live stream video. So you have an app on your phone and you press broadcast, and that will show the world, or whoever has this app and comes into your scope or your broadcast, what you can see. So it uses both the rear and the front camera on your phone. And the lovely thing about it is, you know, there's lots of different types of people on there. So you can be taken on a beautiful tour around Rome, or you can be, which I loved to see, was coming into some of the parties at the 4th of July and actually really seeing how real people live. And you can type comments into the app, so you can interact with the person presenting. And you can present it in, you can interact with them with things called hearts as well, but I'll get into that in a moment. So you broadcast from your phone, and anybody else has the app can come into that broadcast. Again, I will talk about, you can do private broadcasts as well, but I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. So that's basically is what it is. And as I said, you can access it via an app on your phone. However, you can also just watch the cast with your on your laptop via Twitter. Well, let me just find out that other page that I just talked to you guys about. No, I didn't remember. I think it's called Watch on Periscope. I think I put it into the message box. So you can watch it via there as well. Now, there's two key things about Periscope which I think plays particularly well into our field of being an entrepreneur. So the replays are only available for 24 hours. And now I really don't think that's ever going to change, because there are two key elements to that. One is scarcity and one is urgency. So if you miss that replay, you've missed it. And sometimes people don't even put up replays. So if you join, then you kind of get that full experience. I know one person that I joined watching their scope for this has got great content in there. I've obviously come in towards the end. I'm going to go watch them back and watch a replay, and there wasn't any replays. So I think it really dives into that scarcity and urgency, which is really good for getting customers to buy from you. The other thing I kind of like about, well, one of the things that kind of maybe put me off from joining Periscope was somebody told me it was like a reality TV show. And I get what they mean, but that type of thing really put me off. I'm like, no, I don't want to show people around my home and things like that. But what you do, or what it does do, is you get to see absolutely real people every day, amazing, beautiful people who are living real lives. And they give you such amazing insight, wisdom, and knowledge. And that's why I think that person was trying to describe it. They came across in a slightly different way. So remember, you are always in control within Periscope. So if you don't want to show people around your home, you don't have to. If I know some people kind of get more comfortable with having their kids come on when they have a scope. If you don't want to, you don't have to. You get to make the rules. So that's kind of what I would say Periscope is. So it's a beautiful new platform. It's all about live stream. People can interact with you. You can get immediate reaction to things that you're doing behind the scenes. And it really plays into those two key elements, scarcity and urgency. And I think it is really a beautiful way to communicate with new audiences. So what are my 5 key mindset shifts for using Periscope? So there may be some blocks for people that want to come onto Periscope. And, you know, these are common ones in a number of ways around being visible. And the first one is, I'm going to look stupid. To how do you shift that into feeling confident? As I was saying before, there is an ability within Periscope to create a private cast, and that's the absolutely way I would say to go and do it first. You know, have you know, if you think you're going to have feel stupid first time, you know what, everybody else does as well. So just kind of get on and do it, I'd say, in a way. But if you want to have a couple of practice sections with a private cast, first of all, absolutely do that. And you can feel really more confident because you know you are in control. As I said, you can block users if you want to, and we'll talk about that in a bit more in the next point. You can stop the broadcast at any point you want to, and you don't even have to put up a replay. And so I think maybe we think a bit like, you know, when you publish your first blog post, you think, oh, the world and his wife is going to see it. And maybe it just ends up being your mum and your best mate. And it really is that kind of feeling that is not being in that present. That anxiety is all about, you know, that future hesitation of what could be, you know. So, no, you're going to start small and build up from there. I think, as I was saying to Noelle yesterday, if you have a big following already, so I don't have a big following. I had 0 Twitter followers when I joined this Periscope. And that's the other thing to say about Periscope. Periscope is owned 100% by Twitter, so you need to join Twitter to join Periscope as well. So sorry if I forgot to mention that. So, you know, if you are somebody who has a big audience, you probably feel more confident in the camera, and this probably won't be an issue for you. But, you know, think about everyday life. I mean, I probably look stupid sometimes just walking down the road and tripping over my feet once in a while. It happens. You know, it's just part of that real life element to it. As I said, you are in control. So anytime you feel like you've done something really stupid and you feel really embarrassed, then you can stop the broadcast and, you know, you can do your closing statement and just stop the broadcast. I've seen people, yesterday actually, I saw one scope where I joined in halfway through. I don't know what was going on, but basically there was a full-on row going on between this French guy and another French guy when they were trying to show the fireworks for Bastille Day. And he obviously didn't realise he was still scoping, but I think there was a bit of a, you know, as we were saying in England, a bit of an argy-bargy. I think some people were pushing and there was a bit of an argument going on. And then he came back and went, oh my gosh, you guys, you've all saw that, I'm so embarrassed. And it's like, well, you know, these things happen. And actually kind of caught up with what the scenario was. I was like, well, you know, if I was in that situation, I would have done the same. So, you know, people who are on this platform, I say, are very like-minded. There's a very small amount of people, as my next comment is about the trolls. So there are some trolls on there, but they're a very limited number. So one of the mindset shifts may be, I don't know how to handle those horrible, mean trolls or comments, to knowing that you set your boundaries and you are the one in control. As I said, you can block them. And you can block them in 2 ways. One, you can block them then and there, and you just click on the profile picture as the comment comes up and just press block, so you'll see no more from them. The other way is to ignore those comments and then go back through the feed and see who was live on the call and who that person who made the horrible comments, and block them that way. The other thing I would really say and urge you to do is watch how other people handle it. So yes, as a female, you probably will get a few more trolls, but I have seen them on some guys' scopes as well. And I think it really is about learning how to deal with it your way. I think the best way is just to ignore those comments. And if you get a lot of those comments, just, you know, just very gracefully end that broadcast and then just go through and block. But as I said, I've been on here, what now, 2 weeks, and I've probably blocked 5 people. but there you go. The other mindset shift is around thinking that nobody will show up to knowing that everybody has to start somewhere. As I said, you can do a private cast first of all, just to get yourself familiar with what you're doing, and know that many people will have that nobody's actually watching feeling. And one way around this is, obviously there's two approaches, I would say. One is really to find maybe accountability for the first week, accountability buddy for the first week, or find a supportive community where people can support you and go, you're doing really well, this was really good, maybe you can improve on this. And that kind of helps build your confidence, because they know how to use the app as well. They're going to be showing you love on the screen and so helping you to improve your broadcast performance. The other way to do it when you're feeling a little bit more confident is to actually set up a pre-announcement show. So I've done this in a number of ways. One, if I've done a pre-announcement cast, which was actually, I think, 2-3 minutes saying what I was going to speak about in an hour. And the other way is obviously putting a Twitter post or a Facebook post in different groups saying, this is what you're going to talk about. If you're interested, come and I'm live in 10 minutes. I'm live in an hour. Come and watch me. What was my other point going to be about that? Oh, yeah. So a couple of days ago, I did a scope, and it's all about how to create a Twitter cover, because I felt a number of people may have joined Twitter just purely to get onto Periscope. And I had a few people start to come in, and then I noticed the people count live went down to 0. But I kept being consistent. I finished the tutorial. I told people it was a tutorial. It wasn't necessarily amazingly interactive. It was, you can do this with me, and I'm going to walk you through the steps. However, when I ended my broadcast, so I showed up like a pro, I carried on, and I completed it like a pro. At the end of it, I looked at my stats, and I had 50 to 60 people watching this on the web. So that shows you, even though you don't believe people are turning up, they can be watching your replay, and they can also be watching you live on the web as well. If somebody's live on the web, they don't show up on the screen, and they can't comment, and they can't give you hearts. So that's the other point about that. So moving on from you don't know what to talk about to just talking about what you're passionate about. If you can talk to about 5 minutes about a subject, you're good to go. You just need to create some little bullet points. I wouldn't say create a script, just a little few bullet points, because if you get people commenting and trying to figure it all out, then you will get distracted by the comments and things like that. It is a kind of a new technique you have to learn, especially which I have learned and still struggle with a little bit. But passion is the key, and that is what people want to hear from you, is what are you passionate about. If you don't feel like you are an expert in that field, just refresh yourself, do an extra 30 minutes of prep and do some research, and understand what are you talking about. But as I said, if you can talk about it for 5 minutes on one particular subject, you're good to go. And what was my other point going to be? I can't remember. I might come back to that one if it comes back into my head. So going from I'm worried about how I look to just walking down the street. We all just walk down the street and people can take a picture of us. It's not about how you look. And understand that's a big barrier for people. And if it makes you feel more confident, wear makeup. If it makes you feel more comfortable, do whatever you have to do to start broadcasting to make yourself feel more comfortable, but absolutely do not allow it to be an excuse. If you think you're using it as an excuse, get onto Periscope and watch the thousands of different casts that are going on. You'll see people with no hair. You'll see people with long hair. You'll see people with pink, purple, black, white, all sorts of hair. You see people who are big, people who are thin, people. This is all about real life people. And it's just like walking down the street. I understand why predominantly as females we may have this issue, but it really is to change that mindset that it is just like walking down the street, talking to some people. Remember, you have complete control, and you can end a cast and block people if you want to. The other part is it's all about value and consistent content. It's not about how you look. And you will see that again and again. You look at some of the people who are popular on Periscope. Yeah, they're just your average Joes, you know. There isn't anybody who, you know, you wouldn't be friends with, I would say. The other key thing is, remember when you are doing your broadcast, is to make that eye-to-eye connection, because that is what is important. We know this from all the stuff that we already do. It's about smiling into the camera. It's about making eye-to-eye contact. So if you feel like you need to put a little bit of makeup on, if you feel like you need to start somewhere to make yourself feel more confident, do it. Do not let that be a barrier from you starting. And if you really feel that way, then just let me know and we can talk through that a bit more for you. So how Periscope can grow your list, attract clients and add more connections. So I think Periscope, what I have discovered, I've really attracted a new type of audience of clients that I never really knew were out there. The way I kind of describe it is, rather than trying to push or jump above the crowd in the crowded Facebook arena, you are opening a door for people to come into your space, you know, to come into your home to see what you are talking about. And I think that's a beautiful way to make new connection to a really new audience. And there's also people who may have never been in Facebook groups that we're in, or following the types of people we have followed, who are interested in our message and our value and what we have to say about the world. There's also the beautiful element of understanding other people who are broadcasting and really finding new amazing talent to follow, to learn from and to discover. And again, it's, as I think we'll talk about, how to gain connection even when you're not broadcasting. That's exactly the tactic you can use in that situation. So you find a new broadcaster, you can make connections in their broadcast, in their scope, and develop clients that way as well. And the key thing is, we are so ahead of the game. We know the sales funnel, we know that we need to create a great opt-in, you know, all about our lead generation, having that irresistible opt-in, the squeeze page, the email sequence, blah, 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 blah. We know this inside out. So we are ahead of the game, pardon me, we are ahead of the game to people who don't. And the beautiful thing is, we can really repurpose this content across YouTube, Facebook, blogs, etc. And to me, this is more about my content and connection strategy, this platform, more than anything else. Let me just stop sharing the screen with you for a moment and go here, and then I'm just going to share with you. Yeah, so these are going to be, so this is all in line with my branding. Pardon me, just going to take a sip of water. So this is all in line with my branding, and these are going to be the elements that I use within my blog and within my YouTube videos when I start to repurpose some of that material that I currently have. Let me show you the one inside as well, because that was beautiful. Let me find the other one for you. So this is the one that will be on my YouTube channel. Because the video in Periscope is portrait, not landscape, and I don't think it will change, because I think you'll get less space for messages and comments, and I don't think that would be great. Then you can see here how actually that looks far more engaging to a YouTube channel than just having this little like a little video message there. So I just wanted to show you that as well. Let me go back here, and then we go back to the slides. Where are they gone? Let me find them again. So here we go. Great. So I think you can see how you repurpose this content in a number of different ways. So even if somebody is not on Periscope and you repurpose it on your blog, on Facebook, on YouTube, you know, having beautiful graphics around it, that is going to bring people in, because that is going to be far more attractive and you're going to look like a pro. So how to set up your profile for success. I realize my phone is on the opposite side of the room here, but I was going to read you out my bio, but I'll have to try and remember off the top of my head. So how do you set up your profile for success? first of all, say goodbye to the egg. So when you join from Twitter, you get a little egg profile picture, you know, like you kind of like a little person when you join Facebook. Now we all have got great headshots, you know, looking happy, looking smiling, looking warm and welcoming. We know about the good profile picture, but it's really important. Why is that important? So I did a scope about this about last week, I think, where I was starting to look at who is following me, and I did basically see 50-50 of profile picture and of eggs. So I knew a lot of the new people who were following me were really new to Periscope and also Twitter. And so I did a Periscope all about this, telling people about the egg and telling them they had to change their profile picture. Checked in 3 days later, lots of them had. I think at the moment I have 2 eggs who are currently following me. But when you have that profile picture, in a similar way that we recognize that in a Facebook feed, people will recognize it in a comment feed within Periscope when you're commenting as well. Having a scope-friendly bio. So if you see a bio that has some text on it, and then so you have a different bio for your Twitter and you have a different bio for Periscope. So if you're looking at your Periscope bio, you see like a wall of text and then ... That means somebody's just imported it from Twitter, or Twitter's pulled it into their Periscope profile. It's okay if that's what you want, but you look a little, you don't look as pro as you could do. So you need to be, and the great thing about the profile here is I'd probably change it maybe every 2 to 3 weeks, and I'm at the beginning, that's what I'm planning on doing. I probably need to update mine at the moment. Mine just says helping new and emerging female entrepreneurs establish their businesses, you know, etc., etc. And I've got a couple other things on there, and then I think what I am going to put on there now is about I'm a daily scoper, and these, you know, and calling out the topics that I scope about. And the real key thing is for me, what I particularly have done, and I've seen maybe people making a different mistake, are they're putting so many different forums for people to contact them on. Because it's good to have your Twitter, your Periscope handle the same as your Twitter handle, it makes it easier for people to tweet you and to find you. But what I've done on my bio is actually just put down my dedicated website page for my scopes, so that I talk about a couple of things in scopes and go, you know, if you want to find out more about that, go to my scope page, and I tell them what my scope page is. So I can talk about a number of different things. So I talk about, you know, having a great mindset. I talk about how to have goal planning so you have success, i.e. how I make the complex simple. I wouldn't put making the complex simple on Periscope, but planning for your success is it's a different vibe to be putting on Periscope. And I also give practical biz and life tips as well. So those encompassing my message, but I'm reframing it in a different way from my bio. The other thing that you need to know about Periscope is it's all about the emojis. Emojo, emojo, emojo. And that is important in your profile bio as well. You need to be using those emojis to show people that you are a pro, you are an expert, you know what you're doing, and you don't look like somebody who's just stumbled on this. It really does allow you to set yourself differently. Now, there's one particular person, I know, I don't know, I haven't quite found the right emoji for me, but I found one particular person. As soon as I see one particular emoji, I associate it with this scoper. So it's really interesting to see how people can have that visual recognition of a branded, not necessarily branded, as a symbol, and recognizing it to mean this person is scoping. So that's a really interesting point. Again, you need to make it targeted. As I said, I help new and emerging female entrepreneurs. So I'm very targeted to female entrepreneurs, and especially if they're new and emerging. I can also help more established entrepreneurs because of the work I've done previously, but I find it a little bit more interesting to help new and emerging entrepreneurs. but you got to make it more targeted. So I know one scope I had, somebody said, oh, do you only deal with women? I said, predominantly, yes, because of these reasons. And it allows you to then have that conversation and talk about why you work with the people that you want to work with. And I've also found through Periscope, because you have to explain what you do a lot more of the time to a new and different audience, it helps you have a clearer message. And if you want to work with me, we can understand more about how that message can be refined for the different ways in which you use Periscope. So you have obviously your message within your bio, but you have your messaging when you're in other people's scope, and you have your messaging when you're in promo scope. So there's different ways that you can craft your message as well, which is again really, really key. So how to gain connection even if you're not broadcasting. So I would say having a great profile set up, absolutely. As somebody who started broadcasting from day one, I saw one scope before I started broadcasting. I just kind of went in the deep end and just went, oh, I'm going to make mistakes. I don't really care. I do go in and see who's following me. Great stuff. I do go in and see who's following me, and I do look at their profiles. I do also look at the profiles of other people who are in live scopes at the same time as me. So having that great profile helps you attract people in so many different levels. The other way is to create connections with broadcasters who have a similar following to you or ICA. Again, you can find out what type of things they're talking about and people like, a bit like when you see a Facebook post and somebody's getting a lot of comments, you can understand what are people saying, what are people's pain points, what are people's fears, what excites them. And you can pick up on that and you can find your own topics to talk about, but also you're finding a new audience to connect with as well. And the way you do that is through getting involved in the comment box. So making intelligent, thoughtful, and positive messages within those comment boxes will make you stand out above everybody else. Now, when you watch, say for the likes of Alex Petty, he has 70,000 followers on Periscope, and his broadcasts are always full to the rafters. But it's about how you make those connections with people that they will see your message and comment. So make intelligent comments, talk about what the subject they're talking about, share your experiences. And the other beautiful thing about Periscope is it seems that the key people on there at the moment, the people who are really leading the way, understand it's not about competition, it's about complementary. There's more than enough for everybody. So if you are putting those intelligent comments in, people who are broadcasting say, follow this person. I know somebody came in, I was talking about something, said, I've written a blog post about that. I completely agree with what you're saying. I'm like, oh, thank you for saying that. What's your blog? Share your blog URL on here. And they did. It's not about competition. It's about a really open and lovely forum. So the other way to sort of gain connections as well, so there's a couple of things within Periscope. So you give hearts, so you tap the screen, tap, 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 and you can see hearts coming up. So this is great in a number of ways. One, it allows I think the key way is that it allows the broadcaster to have more confidence in what they're saying. So when you like what they're saying, if you give them hearts, and they'll give you a better broadcast, but also they'll know what they're talking about is of value and of use. The key reason why hearts were invented is I've done a really minuscule amount of TV work, really little, probably can count it on one hand. But when you have that, that bright red or green button to say you've gone live, that is scary, full stop, it is. And having the hearts is a soft way of encouraging people to carry on doing what they're doing. So a lot of broadcasters will check to see who are giving them hearts and who are interacting with them on that cast as well. The other really great way to do is if you are finding a broadcast really engaging, really amazing, then have your followers come in, share it with them. And I was saying, I believe at the moment you probably have 2 shares a day. Physically, you can do a lot more than that, but I think out of politeness and consideration for your followers, I would say share twice a day. More than that, then people might stop following you because they don't want all these notifications. And the other thing you can do is make connections, is start to follow other people. As I said, you can start to follow the people in the broadcast or follow the people who are also live in that scope as well. The other way is there's quite a few people do these promo scopes where you can actually just share your message on what you do. So you can be looking for a copywriter and find a copywriter, go, oh, they look really cool, let's connect to them. Or people can be following, wanting to find somebody that offers what you offer. So that's another great way. And you don't have to broadcast, you just type that message into the comments box. And then my final slide here is all about the top tips for broadcasting for the first time. So as I said, choose a topic you believe you're an expert in, write down those 5 or 3 key bullet points you have, maybe a couple more under that as well when you first start. We know this from how we create our blog and titles, but create an attention-grabbing title. It's all about the how you create. I found personally over the last few days creating questions, kind of quite targeted, but also a little bit mysterious. Like one of them was, does being an introvert and a public speaker mix? Because I really am an introvert, and that got a lot of engagement from people. So, you know, think about how you create that attention-grabbing headlines. Whilst you're on Periscope and you go to watch Global, you can see the type of titles that are coming up. And you can see from yourself you are ahead of the game because you know you can craft a lot better titles than the majority of the ones that are coming up in the stream. And that's, you know, it's attention for eyeballs, and that's how you get more followers and more people into your scopes. Practice, practice, practice. So practice having a test run and do a private scope with a friend or family first couple of times. So if you feel like you're going to look like an idiot, you can do that in front of somebody you know, which is sometimes a bit easier. And remember, you are in control. I know I've said this a few times, but I really want to emphasize that. That's why I like this forum so much, is you can block spammers and you can stop whenever you want, honey. You just stop whenever you need to. And also remember that everybody has to start somewhere. As I said, you're not going to have a billion people. Well, I say this actually, it was quite funny. Somebody did do a bit of a scope mob thing yesterday, and this woman was doing her first broadcast, and then all these people came in, which you just, it's never going to happen. I mean, that's just like one in like a trillion. But you know, just know that you have to start somewhere, that you're going to have a small audience to start off with, and that you can grow and grow it over time. And I think that's all my key points of information that I wanted to download of you lovely ladies. Let me stop sharing my screen and look at you. There you go. So hopefully guys, you found that really useful and interesting. As I said, if you have any questions, if you'd like to learn more, then just let me know and I'll see how I can help you. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you soon. And as always, from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of yours, thank you. All right, take care, darling. Bye.